Once upon a time, in a beautiful land far away, there lived a happy young girl named Ella. She lived with her loving father, and their days were filled with warmth and joy. Her father cared for her deeply, and Ella grew up feeling safe and loved. But happiness did not last forever. One sad day, Ella's father passed away, leaving her all alone. Soon after, her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, took control of the house. She was cold-hearted and cruel. She brought her two daughters, Anastasia and Drizella, who were loud, selfish, and untidy. Together they treated poor Ella terribly. They forced her to do all the household work and treated her like a servant. They even took away her real name and began calling her Cinderella because she was always covered in ashes and dust from the fireplace. From sunrise to sunset, Cinderella worked endlessly. She cooked, cleaned, washed clothes, and scrubbed floors. Yet, despite all the cruelty, Cinderella remained kind, gentle, and hopeful. She was friendly to the little animals who lived around the house, and she often dreamed of a better life. Cinderella lived in a small, dusty attic at the top of the house. Though her life was hard, she never stopped believing that someday things would change. One morning, a royal messenger arrived with exciting news. The king was hosting a grand ball at the palace. Every maiden in the kingdom was invited, as the prince wished to choose a bride. The stepsisters were thrilled and immediately began dreaming of becoming princesses. Cinderella, too, hoped she could attend, as the invitation clearly said every maiden. She decided to fix her mother's old dress and worked hard to make it beautiful. Her little animal friends helped her secretly. However, Cinderella's stepmother had no intention of letting her go. She gave Cinderella endless chores to keep her busy all day. By the time Cinderella finished her work, her dress was nearly ruined. Still, with the help of her friends, Cinderella managed to finish her gown and ran downstairs, excited to join the others. But her jealous stepsisters tore the dress apart in anger. Then they left for the ball, leaving Cinderella alone and heartbroken. Cinderella ran into the garden and cried, believing all hope was lost. Suddenly, a warm glow filled the air, and a kind fairy godmother appeared. She comforted Cinderella and promised to help her. With a wave of her magic wand, the fairy godmother turned a pumpkin into a magnificent golden carriage. The mice became beautiful white horses, and an old horse became a grand coachman. Then, with a swirl of magic, Cinderella's torn rags transformed into a stunning blue gown, and on her feet appeared delicate glass slippers. The fairy godmother warned Cinderella that the magic would only last until midnight. When the clock struck 12, everything would return to the way it was. Cinderella promised to return before midnight and rode off to the palace. At the royal ball, the prince was bored and unimpressed until Cinderella appeared. Everyone stopped and stared as she entered. The prince was instantly captivated. He danced with Cinderella all evening, and they laughed and talked as if they had known each other forever. As the clock began to strike midnight, Cinderella remembered the warning. She rushed away without revealing her name. As she ran down the palace stairs, one of her glass slippers slipped off, but she did not stop to retrieve it. The next morning, the prince ordered a search across the kingdom. He declared he would marry the maiden whose foot fit the glass slipper. House by house, the royal duke searched, but the slipper fit no one. At last, he arrived at Cinderella's home. The stepsisters tried desperately to squeeze their feet into the slipper, but failed. Meanwhile, Cinderella had been locked in the attic by her stepmother. Her loyal mice stole the key and freed her just in time. Cinderella rushed downstairs and asked to try on the slipper. Though her stepmother tried to stop her, the Duke allowed it. The slipper fit Cinderella perfectly. She then revealed the matching slipper she had kept. There was no doubt. She was the mysterious girl from the ball. Cinderella forgave her stepfamily and returned to the palace, where the prince joyfully welcomed her. Soon after, they were married in a grand royal ceremony. Cinderella became queen, but she never lost her kindness and gentle heart. She and the prince lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with love and compassion.